All right. Hello, David. How are you this morning?
Well, good morning, Jen. Good morning to you also. I'm doing well, thank you. It looks like it's going to be a pretty day today, so I'm excited about you and I getting face to face in this virtual room. Thank you,
Yeah,
Jen.
yeah, absolutely. And so I am Jenn Grace. I'm the founder of Publisher Purpose, and you are David Norman, and you are now the author of Supercharge. And we're here to have a conversation about your book launching. So let's dive right in. Yes.
Well, and I am an author. Thank you. And I first of all have to spread a few kudos around. That's not necessarily my role, but you, Jen, and your folks over at Publish Your Purpose have just been outstanding in helping me get to this point to get almost a 30-year dream live. So while the 30-year dream, it was a 17-month, as I say, gestation period to
Mhm.
give the book. And I don't think I could have done it without your help and the help of your folks. So
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah, you're very welcome. And you moved through the process very quickly, the publishing side of the process. Maybe the gestation beforehand and the 30 years before that, but like the actual publishing process, you moved through at a what feels like a lightning speed. And it to me it's promising because I do tell authors often like you can move fast. Like we can move as fast as you want to move, but often it doesn't go in reverse. So I feel like you're a really great example of like really moving through still with intentionality and not taking shortcuts.
Yeah. Well, thank you for those words. It felt different on this side of the
Mhm.
camera, as it were.
Mhm.
But I do know that we didn't contact each other till right after the first of this year. So
Mhm.
in that time frame, here we are only 7 months into the year, and I'm
Mhm.
already public. So
Mhm.
uh, I have to compare that it's likely faster than some, but
Mhm.
yes, a
Still
lot of
feels like
work
a while.
got into it before I contacted you. So, Supercharge itself, the book, came out of multiple years of involvement with my clients on implementing EOS,
Mhm.
Entrepreneurial Operating System. It came from a book by Gino Wickman called Traction. I still am, but at that time, back in the 2014 timeframe when the book came out, I was a coach with an organization called Vistage International. I had three groups that I coached business owners, and what I observed, there was an immense, almost rapid acceptance of the book Traction
Mhm.
in groups of small to mid-sized business owners. The key is that it's an operating system for a business, and most small businesses start with a hodgepodge of forms, spreadsheets, printouts, and
Mhm.
things just evolve fairly rapidly over time, but there's no system to it. Gino Wickman in Traction, and in fact, Vern Harnish in the book Scaling Up, did a very good job of codifying a simple but proven system that works. And I was so intrigued with it that while I was a coach with Vistage, I also started installing EOS in some clients, and they're called implementers, the outsiders who come in and train you folks on how to run the system. And I had a good 7-year run with it as a certified EOS implementer. I believe in the system. Small businesses, mid-sized businesses, if they don't have an operating system, need to look at something like EOS,
Mhm.
Traction, and I use those terms interchangeably, and Scaling Up. However, and here's the however, and what drove the book Supercharge. While I was implementing, I noticed an insidious sort of behavior developing. It, EOS in particular is built around a set of ways you do things, from meetings to scorecards to what Whitman calls rocks, quarterly goals, and those type of things. And being a system, it in hindsight is no different than the system right now. Jen, you're facing your computer.
Mhm.
It's likely a very good computer
Mhm.
with good parts and pieces, but it takes someone to operate it.
Yeah.
And therein lies the key of Supercharge. Supercharge, it sort of assumes that you have an operating system,
Mhm.
but it's about engaging your people in that process. EOS makes the assumption, well, that's not fair. The way EOS typically is implemented is the top level of the organization, the leadership team, says, we're going to do this. And it ultimately gets passed down to the people. Now, a subset of that is annual planning process. Is the typical annual planning for leadership teams is for the team to go off to the mountains for 2 days and do an annual plan, do the strategies and the efforts to make it happen, the key results and the objectives. Okay? And then they come back to the office and they pass it down to their folks. Two insidious things are happening right there. Without really considering it, what they've told their folks is, you're not smart enough to think. You're here only to execute. He will give you the plan, you execute. So that's a real problem with engagement. And then the second thing that happens from it is leadership teams can very well miss the key strategic efforts that are needed. In other words, if I ask even you, Jen, who faces your customers? It's in an organization, it's the sales clerk, it's the warehouse person, it's the front desk person, it's the salesperson, and so forth. They are the ones that are the first on the scene to know what's going on with their prospects and customers. And yet, that second problem is we don't ask them as a leadership team. So your strategic planning, as just an example of several things that I've tried to fix in Supercharge, it's a top-down effort that tells the rest of the people they are not important. Gallup, and in support of this, Gallup poll, which has been annually, polling workplace across the world, they've just come out with the most recent numbers, and 78% of employees are not engaged.
It's a big number.
Yeah, that's 4 out of 5 employees are not engaged.
Yes.
They're there to check the boxes, fill in the forms, collect the paycheck, and go home. I'm not being pejorative about it. The data is there. So what if we were to create, while we're doing an operating system, an engaged workforce? I call it, in Supercharge, a community enhanced leadership. Can we develop, in the process of implementing, a leadership that is focused on creating a community of folks? Okay. That's what Supercharge ultimately is about. And I go so far in Supercharge to write scripts as on several types of meetings, way to get that shift in performance that is dramatic. Okay. I want you to use the operating system, you being an entrepreneur, a business owner, but people are different. Bring your people into that community so they are committed to the change as much as why you are. Okay?
Yeah. All right. Yeah. You said a mouthful. And I'm like, my mind is going to, like, if you think in the future, right? So the book's only been out a very, very short window of time right now. So if we were to fast forward to a year from now, 6 months from now, 18 months, whatever the time frame is, and you have entrepreneurs coming up to you to say, wow, Supercharge changed my business. Like, what is your hope that they're saying back to you? Or what is your hope that they're doing differently, or the results that they're getting that are different because of reading this book?
Good question. Thanks. Probably the short version of it, which would be unlike me, the short version of it would be that they said, wow, my people are engaged. I finally recognize the power of my people, that they have my interest in mind as much as I do. That's what I want. I want that community-centric, community-enhanced organization. And further, I would like that leader to say, and consequently, I've made a shift in my leadership style. The shift I'm looking for, Jen, is without being totally pejorative about it, most leadership, particularly in small companies, is framed around the command and control type of mentality, the patriarchy. I'm the boss.
Mm-hmm.
I started this company. It's mine. I know all the answers. Go do it. And I'm stating it to a degree, but we're used to that orientation that points to someone and says, here's your role, here are your responsibilities, go do it.
Mm-hmm.
Without much more than that. What you end up with is problems. You develop an accountability, to be sure, but it's an accountability that is compliance based
Mm-hmm.
rather than natural. It's an accountability of I'll go check box. I'll make the check boxes. I'll follow the procedure. I'll perhaps even blame shift.
Mm-hmm.
Or actually do some busy work that doesn't even really change strategies or where we're going. It's the leadership itself needs to change in the process. Supercharge addresses that in specific examples. It needs to start with the leader. Everybody will model the leader's behavior.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to command and control, run organization, act like the general.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And you'll get what you look for. I've heard it a couple of times. I use the phrases, develop the culture you want or get the culture you deserve.
It's a good phrase.
So you have to develop it. It starts with you as a leader. The very language that a leader uses can change. And I in the book, I suggest some ways it can change. Language like, you report to such and such. No. Perhaps it's you are accountable to.
Yeah.
Okay. Reporting to comes with a heavy burden.
Mm-hmm.
Your responsibilities are, well, there's that list of 13 responsibilities that somebody handed you. That comes with a burden. Why not make it where you're engaged rather than perceived as a burden?
Yeah.
Okay.
And now, do you see scenarios, because you've been doing this work for such a long, just a really strong career in helping entrepreneurs, which I think is great, because every time I talk to you, I learn something new. Like there's always just, even if it's just some off the cuff thing that you say, I'm like, ooh, that's like a good nugget of wisdom. Do you see any scenario where this can almost go in like the extreme opposite direction, and then an organization struggles because now instead of, like, I'm not a big fan of hierarchy. I'm all about collaboration and getting input from everybody on the team before making any decisions. But is there an extreme to this as well that owners might struggle with?
Yes, there is. The extreme, first of all, is that, and I've seen it, where I mention people-centric or community-enhanced. Some leaders have perceived that to be as wishy-washy, soft. Okay. And that if that happens, then what you start getting into are problems, that the real issues, the real opportunities are not used. We're trying to be polite to everybody. We're trying to, you can't treat all employees exactly the same. They're all different people. We can't perceive that they're all going to react the same, and we can't perceive that, or can't assume that they are bringing the same skills and attitudes, values to the table. We still have to treat individuals as individuals, but this is not a soft process. What you end up with, though, if you take that approach, Jen, is you end up with back to the no effort at all in terms of, well, everybody's going to be treated the same.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm just going to do what it takes to get through the day. Right? And that's not what we're proposing here. We're proposing that you get away from that approach. I am not suggesting a soft on people type of thing. No, this has real accountability in it. People want to be accountable, Jen.
Yeah. Yeah.
Typically, we don't know, though, for what it is that we're accountable for.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's a communication breakdown.
Among other things. That's correct. So it all starts at the leader with his or her behaviors and how they act, the words that they use, their communication, one of the suggestions I make a couple of times in the book is stop answering questions. Stop. Ask questions. If you're at work all day long and somebody's knocking on your door trying to get an answer and you're giving them an answer, you're training them to be reliant upon you to give the answer, and admitting to themselves they've been told they don't have the capacity to fix it. Simply reverse it. Instead of answering a question, turn it around to a question. So, Jen, what do you think would happen if you were to go do what we're talking about? You go with me? Go try it. And we meet tomorrow to talk about the results. That's the accountability piece. But change from giving answers to asking questions.
Yeah, such a simple tip.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, it's such a simple reframe. And that's like one little thing, and it's such a much larger ecosystem that you've built in helping support entrepreneurs.
And you'll find, as a leader, you do this, you'll get your time back. Okay, because you're further developing your people. You're building a community of folks that impacts directly your ability to work on the business instead of in it. That's a big significant shift. Okay. What I'm suggesting in Supercharge, if you adopt it as an example, it only requires 4% of your time over the course of a year.
Oh, wow.
As a leader. But you also gain back a significant one. Now, the ROI is there. I'll give one case, and I'll provide it in the book, where one of my clients' investment in this process after 5 years had returned 175 times that investment in growth of their shareholder value.
Wow.
175 times return on that investment.
Wow. Yeah.
And that I submit is significant.
Yeah, I would say so.
Okay. A lot of my clients are looking ultimately for an exit. What if you knew going into desiring an exit, you could build the type of organization that would make your firm more valuable to your purchaser? What happens to the price of that firm in that process?
Yep. Absolutely.
But it requires you to put a stake in the ground now to change not only your behavior, but to change the culture of the organization.
Yeah. And then someone who is, listening to this conversation and they're thinking, all right, well, I know that I have room for improvement in my own organization. They do not need to have knowledge of the EOS system or be implementing that as it is. Like, this is yes, there's components to that you, from your lived experience in working with people, but this is not for someone who is already using that platform. Yes.
You're exactly correct. EOS, scaling up, Traction, Pinnacle, et al. There are a number of operating systems out there. Doing those are not a required prerequisite to doing what I'm suggesting here. In the book, like I said, I even script some of the conversations you need to have in the early change process. It's a very hands-on book. It's not a workbook as people are used to thinking. It is a book. It's significant. It's 300 pages long with appendices, but it shows you what steps to take and how to move it. Move the needle, as they say in today's world. Okay? Having an operating system is important, but it's not a prerequisite.
Yep. It's like that's
okay.
helpful.
In fact, if I were working with that leader, my suggestion would probably say, while we're doing Supercharge, you'll get your operating system.
Yeah. Seems like that would make everything better by having some kind of operating system. Otherwise, you're just kind of seems very messy otherwise.
It gets very messy, convoluted, and your losses, not necessarily financial losses, but the losses of people from retention problems to turnover to pure waste is incredible, and likely it's happening between the cracks that you don't see.
Yeah.
The operating systems do a good job of fixing that, but
Mhm.
that's all they do. They increase efficiency and they increase communication.
Mhm.
You have to build a culture.
Yeah. Yep.
And,
Mhm.
and my assessment, my assertion is that it's a culture that involves your people.
Mhm. Yep. And this is industry agnostic, obviously. And so, what about size of a organization? Is there any like certain size that you see more success in for organizations, or is that not relevant?
It is relevant, but I'm going to have to answer it again from my personal perspective,
Mhm.
Jen. I've worked with only small and mid-sized organizations,
Mhm.
for profit and some not-for-profits also. I'm not
Mhm.
excluding them from it. My concern is at the other end of the scale, the larger companies, where the silos, as I call them, are
Mhm.
so, what's the word I'm looking for, are so invested or so firm
Mhm.
that they're difficult to break down in a large organization.
Mhm.
It's tough to build a community centric employees where they're 10,000 or 1,000 or
Mhm.
something. Okay. I've on- but that's just an assertion on my part because I've only
Mhm.
worked in the small to mid-sized firms,
Yeah.
agnostic on SIC. It doesn't matter what they do.
Mhm.
It matters to me how they do it.
Yeah.
Okay, and so I can see real change. Now, on the other hand, you got to look at in the U.S. alone. What is it? 40. I don't remember. 45, 55% of the U.S.'s GDP is developed by small business.
Mhm. Mhm.
So it's a significant part of the economy.
Mhm.
Um, estimated, well, 1.1 million businesses have started every year in the
Mhm.
U.S.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, also 1.1 or 1.2 million that go out of business every year. The
Yeah.
failure rate of small businesses is 65% in the first year won't make it through to year 10.
Yeah. 65%. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
let's do something about that. I can
Mhm.
affect, I can show a business owner closely held,
Mhm.
create a little gem.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah.
Would it work in larger organizations? Perhaps, but I have
Mhm.
no frame of reference to say yes or no.
Yeah.
I just,
Yeah, that's fair. It'd be interesting to know like the data points of like, for because we all hear those stats about how many businesses fail like within the first year, right? And Lord knows I've been in business for 20 years, so I see people starting things and them closing quite
Mhm.
quickly.
Yeah.
And just thinking about like the businesses that withstand, what are the what is that special sauce that they're doing differently? And I wonder if it has something to do with operating systems, right? Like I feel like that has to be some component of it that you have to be an organized there's gotta be, like, something that the ones who are surviving are doing differently than those who are just kind of, like, popping up and be like, "Oh, shit, I don't know what I'm doing, and now I this was a bad idea," and then running.
You're asking an essential question. Okay. For most business owners, small business owners, because I put myself in that same place,
Mhm,
we live with an imposter syndrome.
mhm,
Fake it till you make it.
mhm,
It's not the unknowns that bother us, it's the unknown unknowns
mhm,
that we don't ask questions on. So we go through trying to change things to succeed. Um, when you look at the number I quoted earlier on engagement with 78% unengaged,
mhm,
my contention is that as a business owner, you need two systems.
mhm,
You need an operating system
mhm,
and you need a leadership system.
mhm,
And they are not one and the
mhm.
same.
Yep.
They are distinct, just like your computer sitting in front of you right now,
Mhm,
Jen, is agnostic as to who touches it.
mhm. Yep.
Okay. It's who uses it and what do they get out of it. That's the leadership system.
Mhm,
As a business owner, to survive, you have to have both.
mhm. Yep.
And a
Yep.
lot of focus in the last decade has been on the operating system appropriately,
Mhm,
but that's
mhm.
only half the equation.
Mhm. So it has to be that magic combination of having both of these systems in place, and that's really what the success rate for those that do make it past that first year mark, third year, fifth year, 10 year.
That
Makes
that
sense.
is correct.
Because
And
it's like
it's not,
fish rots from the
it's
head,
not
right? Like that's the phrase.
I'm sorry.
That phrase, like the fish rots from the head, right? Like
Yeah.
that's the. I feel
Yeah.
like, yeah.
Yeah. But I had a fellow working with one of my groups came in and talked about leadership.
Mm-hmm.
And when he stood in front of the room to do a workshop on leadership, he had a button on his shirt unbuttoned on purpose.
Mm.
So just halfway through the morning at the hour and a half break, the bio break, everybody comes back. And his first question was, how many of you noticed that my button was undone?
Mm.
Every hand in the room went up.
Mm-hmm.
The significance of that is, as he went on to wrap it around leadership, the significance is every employee looks to you
Mm-hmm.
all the way down to your
Yeah.
button to model your behavior.
Mm-hmm.
A business owner is never off stage,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
whether they're at home
Mm-hmm.
in the morning, out in the evening, or at home. They are surrounded all the time with people who want answers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You're never alone,
Mm-hmm.
but you're often lonely because there's nobody there to say, hey, Jen, that button's undone.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that's part of the leadership model that starts with you, the leader. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You've got to be vulnerable. The three little short sentences that I've heard more business executives need to say are very simple ones. Simply, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I made a mistake.
Mm-hmm.
I need help.
Mm.
Those
Yeah.
are three simple little questions, but I see so many business owners have trouble saying those.
Yeah. And that's external and internal communication? Yeah.
Absolutely.
I assumed. Just confirming.
Absolutely. It's a predicate. It's
Mm-hmm.
who we are. If you stand up in front of everybody in your office and you're acting like you're superwoman,
Mm-hmm.
then they're going to treat you as such.
Mm-hmm.
But you're going to have some kryptonite.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then it's the hierarchy that you were talking about.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So let's change that. I am very supportive of operating systems.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're necessary
Mm-hmm.
because they increase efficiency. That's table stakes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's the leadership system that really needs to change. That's where the harsh reality is. You can build an efficient organization with an operating system,
Yeah.
but an efficient system doesn't roll the socks up and down on any employee.
Mm-mm.
I work for a very efficient organization
Yeah.
and motivate you.
No.
It keeps things good, keeps the efficiency there, keeps the communications there, which is a predicate.
Yeah.
But it's the leadership system that builds real people. As I said a few moments ago,
Mm-hmm.
build the culture you want
Yeah.
or get the culture you deserve.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Okay?
Yeah.
It's up to leadership. So Supercharge is a leadership book. In fact, the subtitle is A New Playbook for Leadership.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
I'll walk you through the steps.
Mm-hmm.
I create a script. I share with you some ways that if you're willing to change yourself
Mm-hmm.
to build a better organization.
Yeah. Yeah. It's fantastic. Oh, this is such a good conversation, and I'm putting up your website along the bottom of the screen. What is your call to action for folks? So someone's like, "Ooh, I'm really loving what David's saying." What is your request of them? Obviously it's to grab a copy of Supercharge. That's the obvious one. Anything else?
Second, first, grab a copy of Supercharge. Read it. Don't just put it on your bedside table.
Mm-hmm.
You got to read it because I really do walk through the steps in there.
Mm-hmm.
2, go stand in the bathroom and look in the mirror.
Mm-hmm.
And if you sincerely are comfortable with who you're looking at, good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But if you think there's an itch and you don't know where to scratch, contact me.
Mm.
Okay.
Yeah.
I am trying to build in the early stages a network of folks across the country who will help work with you on Supercharge.
That's
Okay.
fantastic.
It's in its early stages right now.
Mhm.
I guess, and it's not very sophisticated, John, but it sums it up. If you're a business owner and you have a scratch, but
Mhm.
don't know where to itch,
Mhm.
I'm here to listen.
Yeah. I love that. It's such a good call to action because it's especially looking in the mirror because I would imagine that more people than not are not there's going to be something that they're seeing that they need to work on
It,
because we are
it's
human.
an incredibly large number, and I'll give
Mhm.
one indicator on that as we wrap up, Jen. In terms of folks who are professionally implementing
Mhm.
EOS, 850 worldwide.
Mhm.
So the system, the operating system that was in the book Traction and Entrepreneurial Operating System is popular.
Mhm. Mhm.
It's only one step to greatness, though.
Yeah.
It will help you be ordinary and
Mhm.
efficient, but it will not get you to extraordinary.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. And
That's
that's
leadership. That's on leadership. Okay.
Mhm. I love that. Oh, this is so good. Thank you for your time today. I appreciate it. I love getting to the end of the process and having this conversation and seeing the physical book because there's so many moving pieces and parts to get us to this place of even discussing this. So I appreciate you and appreciate all of the hard work along the way. And then anyone who is watching, it's davidtnorman.com, scrolling along the bottom, but also it's available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Books A Million, Bookshop, wherever you would like to purchase a copy of his book, it will be available there. So,
And
yes.
thank you, Jim, not only for shepherding me to get to this point, but also giving me an opportunity to talk about it. So
Yeah,
I always enjoy being with you. Thank you, Jim.
you are very welcome. Thank you. I appreciate it. And for everyone else, I will see you next time chatting with somebody else. So, have a good day. Thank you.